Aloha, Richard Halverson here. This is ICS321, and this is the second cycle or second week, if you want to think of it that way, of class. And so I'm just gonna let's see. Let me share my screen real quick here. And so we are. Let's see, syllabus. We are in this time period here, and if you looked at the announcement that I sent out last night, I scheduled for both cycle 2 and cycle 3, or week 2 or week 3, if you want to think of it that way. So there's a class today now, and then on Friday there's going to be one from 10:30 to 11:30. Of course, you're not. Of course, you don't have to log in at that time, but you're responsible to watch the recording when the recording is posted. Last week we did week 1, and so I did start the playlist, and so you can. Does this open up a new link? No. So we have a playlist here, and there's the first video, and you can watch that. All right, close it. So one thing I wanted to point out is on the grade book, I did add, let's see, I have to finish, finish that, but I added, I filled out the forum thing a little bit. There's relevant topics. Well, let's see, if you go to forums, this is all posted up now. So there's relevant topics, and that's going to be run mainly by the TA, and he's going to post up questions like this, and you just have to read this, and you get a little enlightened. You associate it with stuff you know, and then you just answer the question here, and it's not a big deal. You just think about it, read the question, and respond in a meaningful way, meaningful enough. Two, 3 sentences is fine, and others will read it. And the idea here is that it's sort of spawns some conversation, relates what we're it should relate what we're learning in class with things going on in the real world. And the idea here is that when you post, then I will come in and comment and tie it back into perhaps what we're learning. And so this is supposed to be engaging the students and with the instructor. Now, there's another forum here that and there's going to be like maybe one every cycle, 6, 7, or I don't know how many, but if you could comment, would be if you could comment on 5 topics, okay, throughout the semester. And so each topic is 1 point. So if you look at the syllabus and you see the number of points for the forum, it's 5 points. So 1 point per enlightened comment or question. It can be a question, or you can answer the question that's asked. Now there's also ask the instructor. Now this is supposed to take the place of, if we're in a regular face-to-face class, you can raise your hand and ask a question. And the question can be pretty much anything. It can have to do with the syllabus, it can have to do with the policy, it can have to do with some topic of the day, how it might relate to class. It might be more on the personal side, like I may comment about stuff I do or stuff I've done in my career, and stuff I'm doing now outside of teaching, and you may have a question about that. So basically anything. And so this is supposed to be student to instructor engagement, and the accreditation boards, when they come around and give us our accreditation for our program, they need to see examples of this. I mean, it has to be in the syllabuses, and then there has to be evidence. So so if you have a syllabus question, and you can post the question anywhere you want to, but if you have a syllabus question, just come in here and you click on here and you ask the question. I don't know. Is there going to be a midterm and or final? And I don't know what you put here. I don't know. I'm not going to put anything. And you click post. And so there it is. And so this is me as a student here. See, this is my student login. And then I go over to my instructor login, which would be something like this. Let me just quickly, I'm already logged in, and I go to the class. And so now I'm the instructor, and I come in here and I click on forums, and I look and I see, look, there's a syllabus question here for me. And so I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to say, is there going to be a midterm or a final? That's a good question. And so I can reply, and I can say, no, there won't be a midterm or a final. I really shouldn't say that. There won't be a midterm, and you can think of chapter 12 of the textbook as your final. And so that's like chapter 12 of the textbook is like a whole bunch, is like 14 SQL problems, easy and hard. And you can kind of think of that. What you need to get out of this class is how to write. The main thing you need to get out of this class is how to write SQL statements. And so that's so it's an appropriate test, but it's still, in the spirit of the textbook, you have as many chances to get stuff done, or you have as many chances to get the correct answer. The textbook will tell you if you got the correct answer or not. So so anyway, that's the answer. And so I would post it, and then anybody else can come in here, and then you're back to Mr. Student again. Let me just separate this. I'm gonna put this over here. So you come back to Mr. Student here, and whatever, hit refresh, and see, now I'm Rich the student, and I go, look, you click in here and you say, is it going to be a final? You can click on here and you go, look, he answered my question. No, there won't be a midterm, and you can think of chapter 12 of the textbook as your final. All right, I guess that's a sufficient enough answer. It doesn't quite answer the question, but the best thing you can do in life is to learn how to answer the question that's asked, and don't answer the question that you think the person is asking, because you might not get it right. So I should say no. Right, the answer should be no. Anyway, all right. So these are the forums, and so I would like you to engage here, and in fact, what I'm going to do is, see, there's general questions, so you can sort of separate them, and so any question that you might have that may benefit the students, that your classmates, and so even like I'm having trouble getting all the points on problem 5.2 on assignment 5.2. Here, let's open up let's go to the assignments, and let's say you're working on a problem, any problem, and you say you know, you're debugging it. You're debugging your stuff, and to debug it, you use the this thing. Use the grading assistant. You know, so you're here and you're doing submit, and you, for some reason, you can't get all the points, and you say, I'm stuck. I don't understand the error. Well, you know, you can post it on the forum. And can you do a screenshot? Let's see. You can start a conversation. And can you upload? Oh, yes, you can. Yes, you can upload an attachment. So you can actually upload a screenshot of the error. And so you can upload you can take a screenshot of the error in a way that doesn't reveal hardly anything. I think you can probably do it where you don't even reveal you know, what your username is, although I guess we'll know that because you're posting it. And you can say, I'm getting this error and I don't understand it. Well, that's enough. That's enough for me, because I can go in and I can see the error, and I can click. I've got something that looks like this that has everybody. And so I can go in and actually see the error, and then I can also actually go in and look at your database. And oftentimes when there's issues with these, I make adjustments to the assignments all the time based on problems where 2 or 3 or 4 students, you know, they email me and they have the same problem, and so it's helpful. And then also students that perhaps maybe do finally figure it out, you may save them some time if you just ask the question. So anyway, if you can use the forum, and so in fact, somewhere I tell you, where do I tell you that it's extra credit? You can actually get, yeah, well, I guess it's just here, but I'll give you extra credit. Everything adds up to 100. Let's see what happens if, I guess there's no, it doesn't tell you anything about the grade, but if you look at the syllabus, everything adds up to 100. And so I'll give you, I can't remember how many I assigned, but I don't know, it may be up to 5. And so those points go right on top. So if you like come in at you know, 91%, which means you just kind of barely got into the A- range, or 90% even, plus 5, 90. Well, let's not be so dramatic, but let's say you're 3 points away from the next higher grade, and you know the grade ranges at Manoa here are, you know, your A minus, B plus, B minus, and there's just 3 or 4 points between you. So extra credit can, you know, help. So today I want to start chapter 2. And then I also want to get you started on the server side. I guess that's what we're going to do today. Let's take a peek. It's 1:45. Let me do the server assignment first. So you are it's assignment one, and everybody's got a server. It's your UH username, you know, like mine is Richard H. .ICS321.com, and you have a Cpanel control panel, and your username is your UH username, you know, like Richard H. And then your password is your first letter of your last name. X is the first letter of your last name capitalized. Y is the first letter of your first name capitalized, and then there's 8 digits, your UHID, that's that, and then followed by %, hashtag, exclamation point. You know, see, I've had to evolve this password that I gave you. Oh, and then you can go in and change it, but I've had to evolve the password because when I run it, I want to add everybody at once. And so in fall and spring, I have 60 students. So I add them all. And some students some students 8-digit is 24000 or some number that it doesn't accept it causes the password not to be strong enough. So I've had to add these silly characters afterwards. But anyway, that's the motivation. That's why that's that way. And then so you're gonna log into Cpanel, and then you're gonna do the first thing is you're gonna make it so your website, so when people go to your URL, it flips to the secure server. So even if they go to http richardh.ics321.com, it'll revert to HTTPS. And so all that is locating the htaccess file and sticking these three statements in there, saving it, and that works. And then the next part is you're going to create a little database here. And it's just a real easy, simple problem just to get you familiar with the little database management system that this PHP MyAdmin, which is what we're going to use. It's a web-based database management system for MySQL that everybody uses. And so we'll do that. And this part, well, anyway, so for me, it'd be like richardh.ics321.com, and when I go there, mine is already, I've already done everything, so mine already automatically flips over to that. But I'll show you what the code looks like. And also, I don't know what you have in here. You can look. I don't know if you have these or not, but for sure you have CGI bit, but you might. And you might not have anything else. But anyway, you want to go to Cpanel. And here is where you log into your Cpanel. And you type in your username, and then your, mine is HR %, hashtag exclamation point, and then I log in. And this is what your Cpanel looks like when you log in. And you can, you can check this out. Most of the stuff works. A lot of the stuff works. I'm not sure the email accounts work. It might work. I don't know if it works or not, but I don't know. But you may not want to. The important thing here that you got to know about is File Manager and PHP MyAdmin and MySQL databases. And I think directory privacy, I can't remember if I have that. No, I don't think I have that part of the assignment. I may put that in. Anyway, you could even install WordPress if you want to. But for this first thing that you got to do, which is this, you need to go to File Manager, click on File Manager, and this thing opens up, and this is your home directory, and yours probably looks like this. Now, when you go in there, your settings are going to be like this, okay? You aren't going to be able to see the hidden files, so it's actually going to look more like this. You can't see the hidden files. So double click on public HTML. This is where this is your web server stuff. You notice that when we looked at my home page, there is no home page. It's just a directory listing. That's what we're seeing here, this directory listing. Now we have to we want to edit the htaccess file. .htaccess file. With the dot in front of it, it makes it hidden. So the first thing we got to do is we have to see if there's a .ht access file in there to begin with. So we need to be able to see the hidden files. And to do that, you click on settings and you go over here and you click on show hidden files, the dot files. And then you click on save, and then boom, lo and behold, you can see the hidden files, and there's only one. And so there already is an htaccess file. If there weren't an htaccess file, I don't know if there is or not on a brand new website. I suppose I could. Let me find a brand new website. I might go to okay, here's let's see. Okay, here's somebody in the class. Wait a second. We need to. Do I have? I don't have Joe Schmo. Anyway, I don't think anybody will know. So this is somebody in the class, and so this is a blank one. So this is what it looks like when. This is what yours is going to look like, and you notice it shows the lock. It shows that it's not HTTPS. So to do that, you if you need to create a new htaccess file, then you would click here, file, and you name it .htaccess. And I'm just going to do, well, I already have one, so I'm not going to do this. But you would click create new file, okay? And then it would create it, and it would be there, and it'd be 0 bytes because it'd be an empty file. Now you click on this, and we're going to edit this. You can right click, and there's stuff there. You can maybe do this one, and you open this up, click edit. And so this is what my htaccess file looks like now. And I think maybe actually everybody does have an htaccess file, and it's got this stuff in it. And so what I do, or what you got to do, is put this before it. And so and that's what this is here. You see, you just put this before it like that, and then you click save changes and close. Okay, then you're good. Then you can test it. And the way you test it is you go here and you type in your that and your then you're able to test it. Now, oh, I didn't mean to do that. This one, the redirect test. This is the one, the redirect test. And success. So this actually tests it. Okay, and the other thing this does is it scores it. It actually puts your score, which I don't know how many points you get for this. You don't get very much because it's pretty easy, but it scores it in my score table. So okay, so that's why. Okay, and also if you should happen to change your password, this thing will also record what your new password is. And I need that because my grader needs to be able to get into your website. So it's not advertised anywhere, but it'll. So that's why it's important for you, especially if you change your password, to use this thing to make sure that you get all the points. You know, see this as you go along, you click, and this thing grades it for you and says, okay, you know, you get all the points, and then it records it. So so that's the first one, and then the second one is to create create this database. And I'm not going to go over that today, but you can click on the video and it tells you how. It's perhaps not like how you'd think. You basically copy this and you paste it into an Excel file, and then you save it out, and then you copy this and paste that into an Excel file, and you save it out, copy this, paste it onto an Excel file, paste it out. You come in here, you create this database. It is, how many databases do I have? It is this one. This is the database you're making. And so, you create that database, and then you come back here and you go into PHPMyAdmin, and you come in here and there'll be no tables here, and then you click import, and then you import those Excel spreadsheets that you pasted in and then saved out. You save them out as a .csv file. That's one way of doing it. I can't remember how exactly I explained it in the video, but there's a couple different ways that are real easy, where you just do this copy pasting stuff, and it comes up here, and then you end up with the table like the suppliers table. This has been edited, anyway, so the instructions are very clear. And there is a point here, like once you're at this point, once you're all done with step 4, then you use this one here to test, and this should say 100%. Now it doesn't say 100% because I've continued on, and completed this part. But when you're doing it, you work up to here, and then you can test to see if your stuff is right at that point, and by clicking here, and you should get 100%. Then you go on and do the rest of this stuff, and then when you're done with the rest of the stuff, you do this final, and at this point, I think I get all the points. Yes. So anyway, so that's the assignment. And then when you're done with the assignment, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to put in, say anything in here, because I've got this control panel thing that looks like this, where I get to see everybody's score. Okay, here's me. So anyway, all right. So what I have done now is I have shown you this. So it's due June 12th. It's a long ways away. And I guess that's the week we assign the next assignment. And I say it's due June 12th. That's the recommended due date. But, and in fact, I think after that, it even might, no, that's right. Laulima does not record anything. Okay, what's recorded is back. In fact, I actually upload the grades into the grade book. So I don't go here and grade your thing, because all this is a description of what you have to do, and you do it on your server, and then it's auto graded. The same thing that tells you your score, that tells me your score. On my side, it's more elaborate, so I can see, like, if you don't get all the points, I see more information, so I can help you out. But since it's all auto graded, I really don't need to have your scores. I mean, you really don't need to be done until you know, a day or two before I have to turn in my grades. It takes me about a half a day from zero, maybe not a half a day, maybe it takes about 2 hours. It takes me about 2 hours from zero to having the grades in La Lima, okay? And at that point, I need to make it, then I need to make adjustments for final grades because I've discussed things with you, and every now and then the grader doesn't work. Some combination of events occurs, and you're not getting all the points. So you email me, and I go try to work on it. I say, well, okay, I'll just give you all the points, and then I have to remember that. So there has to be some time there for me to make the grade adjustments. But and I also don't. It's kind of humbug for me to do that final loading the grades into La Lima, you know, often. So I'll do it periodically because it's nice to see them in La Lima. But getting towards the end, I may just have you rely on what this thing says, and then also what your score says in La Lima, in Zybooks, and that's all there is. There's your scores that from here, these assignments, and they're all you know, you there's something like this for every one of them, and down at the bottom it tells you if you got all the points or not. And then there's the Zybooks ones, and the Zybooks tells you exactly what your points are also. And Zybooks is all auto-graded also. So the point I'm making is that I wouldn't feel right. You know, so there's no penalty for handing stuff in past the due date. The only penalty is that if it builds up, then you're jamming at the end and you got too much to do, and you know, you don't get stuff done, and you don't get quite as high a grade as you could have. Because why? Because you just ran out of time. And if you would have had more time, guaranteed you would have gotten that higher grade. And that's how this works. So so in a way, by not forcing a time schedule on you, you learn how to schedule your time. You learn how to schedule your time better because you have to do it. So that's my philosophy. All right. So let's take a look at Zybooks, because I have.
Professor, could I ask a question on assignment 1?
Sure. Mm-hmm.
So I think I finished assignment 1. I used your grading assistant, and so on La Lima, I think I just typed in the sentence I used the grading assistant, and then I just click submit. Is that sufficient then if I finished all the areas on the grading assistant? Okay.
Yes. Let me just take a peek here.
Okay, cool.
And let's see. It's in alphabetical. I have a lot of students. Wait, well, wait a second. This is summer. Oops, wrong. SU, not SP. Summer's a joy. There's only 22. Yeah. Now I wonder why. Okay, you know, okay, so I'm so glad that you told me, because it didn't, okay, for some reason, when you did the tables one, it didn't appear auto-graded in my little table here, and then I had to look at it, and now it's auto-graded. Oh yes, by the way, you got all the points. Great, congratulations. So you're 100, 100, 100.
Okay, cool.
But you've helped me uncover what it could possibly be a bug. But anyway, that's why it's not. That's why it's not instantaneous that I just come here and download all the scores, because there's still funny things going on in my super duper control panel here. I've got special buttons that can grade everybody at once, and sometimes seems like it misses. Anyway,
it looks
all right,
pretty
great.
complex.
Yeah,
okay, thank you.
All right, yeah.
Okay.
All right, so okay, so we're 206. Let's take a peek at the chapter 2 of the Zybooks book. And this, I don't know if I mentioned this to you, but chapter, I think I did. They added this section here, this relational algebra section, which basically means that I didn't have to have that other textbook. This is a college, you know, upper division computer science database course, which needs to prepare you should you decide to go on to graduate school and even you know, do more work in databases. And so you have to so it's important that you understand the relational algebra, the underlying relational algebra that sort of goes along, and the mathematical formal descriptions of what exactly is going on with these sets and tables. And you know, they're called relations, and there's operators on these relations, and there's these symbols and so on that we have to learn. And it's just kind of a more mathematical way of thinking about what we're doing when we do a select statement, and when we select a set of fields from a table, which is from a relation, and with a particular set of restrictions, and that's the where clause. And so this is the mathematics. So anyway, so we are in that chapter right now. So let's start from the beginning of the chapter, so we don't get so the relational model is it's based on a table, or it looks like a table. In fact, in the language of databases, it's a table. In the language of relational algebra, it's a relation. It's called a relation, and it is these are these entities here that have a certain set of attributes that are defined by a certain set of attributes. And this looks like this paragraph talks about back before there were relational databases, and that was back before the 1970s. And this guy E.F. Codd came along in 1970, and he's the guy that connected this relational algebra with, their databases before 1970 that didn't have tables. They didn't have tables. They were just like files that were connected to other files in some haphazard way, like if you've ever seen like a tree, but not a tree, a graph, where a tree, you know, all the nodes grow down, but in a graph, it's like all the nodes are connected in some way or another, haphazardly, and that's how databases work. And IBM was the the sophisticated, the smartest company back then, and they created these databases, and every database was different. And then E.F. Codd came along and he said, well, you know, we can use this concept of a relation and then do these operations like selecting and where, selecting the table, whereas, and all this kind of stuff. And so this here talks about that. So these are different terms. Domain is a set of all possible database values. A tuple is like a row. It's like a table row, and the relation is the whole table. It is a set of tuples. It's a set of rows. It's a set of related tuples. Tuples that have the same attributes, are characterized by the same attributes, but have different values for the attributes. And that's what makes the tuple different. And a tuple can only appear, you can't have two tuples that are exactly the same in a relation. turns out. The order of the tuples doesn't matter, and the order of the attributes. The order of the tuples doesn't matter, and the order of the attributes doesn't matter. So if you're comparing two tables to see if they're equal, it's kind of hard, because if the columns are out of order, it's hard. And especially the rows are out of order, it's hard to see if they're equal. So here are the operations that you do on a relation, and if the operation of selecting is to select a subset of rows, and then these are, well, okay, so selecting selects a subset of rows using the where clause, which describes, using some Boolean expression, those rows that you want selected. It's like, I want all of the members that were born in 1990 or something like that. That's, so you're selecting all the members of a table that's inside of a table, and one attribute that the table possesses for each member is the year they were born. And so you can select, for example, you can define a restriction based on an expression, which will end up restricting the number of, or the actual rows that will appear in the result. Projection is identifying which columns you want to appear. The table can have 150 columns in it, but you only want the first name, the last name, and the city, let's say. And so that's called a projection. The projection, or to project. Product is listing all combination of rows of two tables, and so one way. Well, we'll get to that. Joining is a way of joining two tables together, and it's usually based on some column or some field where when the values are equal, when those values are equal, then those two rows are joined. So we'll see that. And union, this is just like in sets. A union combines two tables, selecting all the rows of both tables. The attributes should be the same, otherwise it doesn't really make sense. Intersection would be the set of rows that are common to both tables, and then the difference is where it's asymmetric. It's where you have a table, and if you subtract another table, you're subtracting the common rows out of the first table. You're subtracting the common rows out of the first table. So if you have table A minus table B, the result is table A with all of the common rows that were in both subtracted out of table A. And there could be some other rows in table B that are not in table A, and those are just ignored. So what's the result? Okay, there's another thing, and I'm not sure when we're going to get to that, but selecting it, the thing that's so nice about relational algebra, well, let's see, I think we'll get to that. I was going to talk about, I was going to mention this concept called closure, where you're selecting from a table, but really you're selecting from a relation. And the thing is the result of a select statement is a relation. So if you have a select statement, okay, in place of the table, you can put another select statement, because a select statement is a relation. You're really selecting from a relation. And that select statement can be really complicated. It can be a join of a bunch of tables. You can go out and in fact, it's a join of a bunch of tables. Well, those tables are relations actually, and so those relations can be select statements instead of tables, just tables themselves. And so that concept of closure is what really makes all of this powerful. It's what makes it like algebra. Expressions like algebra, because algebra is same thing. The using the principle of closure. Anyway, there's integrity rules that are enforced on relations and the operations that you do with relations. You can define a primary key for a table, and then that means that it's like primary key of, let's say it's social security number. You cannot have more than one row in there with the same social security number, and the database will enforce that. It just won't let you insert it. If you want to change somebody's social security number to somebody else's social security number, it just won't let you do it. You cannot have two columns with the same name, and you can't have duplicate rows. And then there's other rules that you can have the database enforce. You can have a column that represents the primary key is not going to have any repeated values, but you can also say that other columns have to be unique. Oftentimes if the column is oftentimes if you're declaring that a column has to be unique, then it's actually a candidate to be the primary key, probably. But you've chosen, some other column to be like for the UH system, both your UH, your email username is unique to everybody in UH, and your 8-digit UHID is unique, and everybody has one. And so in a table, either of those could be the primary key of the table if it's a table of students, say, or if it's a table of UH affiliated people, or either employees and students. Anyway, and then you can have no missing values. You can enforce that, or sometimes there's a special value called null, which does not mean nothing. It or empty. It doesn't mean zero. It doesn't mean an empty string. It means you don't know what it is. It means it hasn't been defined yet, and it's different than just being zero or a blank, because when you use those columns in expressions, like for the where, like let's say you're selecting let's say you're selecting everybody who is older than let's say you're selecting everybody that was born after 1960, but you have some people in there that you don't know when they were born, because they refused to tell you or something. So those fields are null. Okay, you cannot just search for everybody that's was born after 1960, because there's no guarantee that those records that have a null value for the year that they were born, there's no guarantee that they will be either included or not included. Sometimes they'll be included and sometimes they won't be included. So you actually have to test for it. You have to say, you want everybody that was born where the year is greater than 1960 and and year is not null. So you have to actually specifically exclude null, null fields if you don't want them messing up your where clauses. And sometimes you can't avoid. So when you're defining database tables, you want to be very careful about actually specifying letting fields be null. If something like 0 or a blank is just as good, then that's probably better. But in certain select operations where you're joining, or you're doing like a left join or whatever, you often end up with a relation, the result of a select statement that ends up having null values in some of its records. So it's unavoidable. So you have to know how to deal with it when it does come up. All right, and when we talk about the business rules, we can have other kind of rules like it's a database of employees, and that has employee salaries, let's say, and you have a business rule that no employee is going to make more than their boss. That their yearly salary, no employee is going to have the yearly salary that's greater than their boss. Okay, that's possible. It's possible that the company has a rule like that. Well, how do you make it? How do you enforce that down at the database level? Well, you have to have a trigger. You have to have some sort of programming in there, and we're going to get to that, in chapter 5 or somewhere along. I think chapter 5. Anyway, so databases are all about setting up your a model for your data, and then setting it up so it's able to enforce all the rules that you want. Here's a challenge activity. So let's see what this is. Which of the following are equivalent to the relational tuple that? Select all that applies. So I'm going to start. Which of the following is equivalent to this tuple? Well, a tuple I think the rule is that order doesn't matter, right? Is that the rule that we're... In a relational model, the order of tuple values is not significant. Okay, so here it would be which are equivalent. It's got to have a pi up here, bottom. Okay, so this one, not this one. There's no K. There's no K. So those two. Okay. Got all the points. What's next? Select the correct database term corresponding to the following mathematical terms. Tuple, row, domain. I don't know. What is it? Data type or table? Domain. All right, I'm going to say data type. Check. All right, great. What's next? When a row is deleted, all related rows should be replaced. What kind of structure? Uh, I don't know. I'm going to say it's a structural rule. I mean, I know how I would implement that, but I completely return all tables of the primary key should. Oh, I see. That'd be a business rule. Should have a primary key used to identify individual values. I guess it's a structural rule. All right. Different columns of the same table must have different names, so that's a structural. What's the answer to this? Is this one? Each incorrect answer is highlighted. So this should be business rule, I guess. All right, well. All right, is it a business rule? All right. Guess I'm kind of weak on the difference between structural rules and business rules. All right, so anyway, it's 2:28, let's see, do I need to come back to this? Oh, of course I need to come back to this. I need to go over normal forms, and I need to go over relational algebra. That's important. And I should breeze through these two. Anyway, so I will continue this. Oh, by the way, how long is this chapter? I think this might be syllabus. Yes, we do go on to, so Friday is already this period here. That's the next class. And we continue on with chapter 2. So I spent most of the time today talking about this. Friday, I'm just going to talk about the rest of this chapter. It's important stuff. All right, are there any questions?
No, thank you so much.
All right, thanks. I will see you next time.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, take care. Bye, thank you.